Hello, co-host.
What up? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Hey, good. I'm just recovering from past couple of days.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to recover?
No. Kuthiwa ngesiZulu ivacation elinyiva. So sawuva? Very soft. Balo ngeke phela. Hey, xa i-dragon pause la, uthi sense upini recover. Hey baba.
So in the meantime,
in between times, so
yeah, do what you need to do.
So it takes
ready for the break.
So it talks so much time. Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Get to sleep in.
Yeah.
You know. But I'm gonna be online, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm not even putting an out of office. So.
Yeah, I feel like we're all going to be online in some way because the time that we were supposed to be wrapping up was the time that we were actually picking up.
Yeah.
That's why I think we're so tired. But even though we kind of feel like we were getting back into it, but our bodies know what time it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going into the festive. We're going home. We're going to see our grannies and our grandmothers and grannies and grandmothers.
Yeah.
So I think it's so important to remember with now we're going home, we're going into those spaces of Auga. So I want to know, what are some of the things that we can do? And I mean, I'm throwing this out to everyone as well. We just really want to know, what are some of the ways? I was in a podcast actually, or a Zoom sort of webinar, and the question was, how do we communicate with elders in a way where we're expressing ourselves, but still showing respect, And writing on that, I want to know how we can teach them to come out of those behaviors that we deem as toxic.
What a great question. I think a lot of time, or most of the time, our generation is so entitled. We entitled in the whole, they should understand, they must adjust, and not truly or fully understanding where they come from.
Right.
How they grew up.
Yeah.
Their times. Because again, I think my granny had my mom when she was like 14 or something.
Right.
You were like married at like 17 or, type of thing.
Yeah.
And that was the norm.
So life started very early.
Yeah, that was the norm for them. That wasn't like, oh my God, 12.
Yeah.
For them it was what it was.
Fine, yeah.
So if you grow up with that mindset, fast forward, my granny's age, she's still a baby. But you come to this mindset and you meet who's 31, who's not married with no kids. You're like, what's wrong with you?
What's happening with you?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Because again, by the time they got to 30,
they were riding on 6 kids.
Yeah, 6 kids, so now they're looking at you and they're looking at some of your cousins, and maybe I've got cousins that have many kids.
Right.
So all of a sudden they come through and they're like, well, this person did this person, this.
Yeah.
My niece, so my cousin's daughter,
right,
is 17, and she gave birth.
Yes.
So that makes me a grandfather. Yeah, I'm a grandfather.
Right.
I'm a grandfather. My mom is a great grandmother.
Her mom.
And my grand is great.
Yeah.
So
at the top of the family.
So now you're gonna rock up. Good job. You come across as stable.
Together.
And you're going to have your niece overtake you, because that's how they say it.
Yeah.
Overtake you.
Yeah, they do say that. Barawasai.
Yes. I had my aunt ask me what's wrong when I was like 25 and then have a child.
Really?
And she's like, what's wrong? Are you struggling? Is there something? Have you gone to the clinic? I'll be like,
no.
25. But it's that mindset, because for me, going back to brands, it's rural KZN. So I need to first understand that mindset. So if I'm trying to change a certain narrative, I need to first understand the environment in which I'm in.
Right.
And understand that people don't just change overnight. You know.
Yeah.
So understand my parents, understand my aunts, understand my cousins, understand that whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
And then find a way to break it down in a language in which they understand.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is that we do struggle with it mainly because we feel like they should feel a certain way or they should think a certain way, and we haven't really established. And that was my point that I put across. I said it is important to start learning, and even with just each other. You know, we're entering into a situation. I can't be entitled to, you know, your time and your words and your money and your whatever, not understanding what you are coming through with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just important to give that an opportunity to learn. Uguti, where is it that we are dealing them? Because remember, Uguti, we're feeling like it's toxic. You know, when you're talking to, and I can only talk to black people, when you're talking to white people and you tell them, no, I can't because we've got black tax, for example.
They don't get it.
They don't understand it. They're like, no, your parents are using you. Your parents are doing this. And it's just because they're coming from that place of not understanding. But once you sit them down, you're like, no, but guys, you know, and as much as sometimes uncomfortable because you want to keep your own money, but it's sort of the way of life. And then when people now deem that as somewhat of being toxic, you need to just go back and understand ukuthi wafundiswa kanjalo, wakhuliswa kanjalo, ukuthi wena ufedithe isikolo wabereka uyahlomela, you know. So it's just about trying to meet somewhere in the middle ground. But I think to just come out of entitlement,
it's hard to meet in the middle. I'll give you, because we talk about white folk.
Yeah.
I moved to the complex that I live in now, December 2015. Yeah, around about this time. And I'm wearing like shorts and a vest, and I'm just walking around trying to just, you know, familiarize myself with the complex. And I'll never forget, I'm walking past this one house, and this like 85, 90-year-old granny comes to me. She like waves me down, like, you know. So I go to the granny, and the first thing she says, she looks at me in my eyes, she says, "My gas is nie gesneden." And I'm like,
okay,
this granny bitch right
no.
here. So
no, you did it.
No. She said it like that.
No, I'm
She's
saying
like,
to her.
Yeah. So, but like, luckily, because of where I grew up, I understood the dynamic.
Right.
Old Afrikaans lady, mid-80s. All she knows when she sees a black male is a gardener. It's
all she knows.
Look, forget 94.
Yeah.
She didn't. 94 changed policy, didn't change your mindset.
Right.
You know. So now you take this person who has grown up for 60 years, you know, knowing policy and law to be like this.
Yeah.
That changes, but you don't change that person's environment.
Right.
You know, you don't change that person's circle.
Yeah.
You don't change the person's ecosystem. So again, the only black men that she interacts with are the gardeners.
Yeah.
You know, so she sees me. I'm black. I'm male.
Yeah.
Of a certain age.
Yeah.
I have to be a gardener.
Yeah.
So she comes to me. She's telling me her grass is not cut.
Right.
So I need to cut the grass. You know, so instead of me throwing my toys out the cart, I need to first understand that mindset.
Yeah.
And I literally looked at her and I said,
and I know now we're going into like heavy waters, because you know how people are now going to be like, it's not about defending anything that she's saying. This is literally the lesson.
Rose, let me tell you, you're one of those people that are going to come and attack. I'll say this, how can I say this politically correct? Fuck them. Because there's reality in life.
Yeah.
You know, there's the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
There is racism, and then there is people with a certain perception of life.
Right.
You know, I was actually listening to Jamie Foxx talk about this, and he was talking about flying in little airplanes. And he was saying, Guti, we all have certain perceptions. So if you go into a little 6-seater plane, and you see Unjabulo Tetwayo driving that plane, and he looks about 25, you're gonna get nervous as fuck, you know. But if you see Jon Snow, age 55, salt and pepper hair, aviators on, you relax.
Yeah, you're like, yeah.
You're not trying to be racist, but you understand certain,
Yeah.
If I'm trying to get into a taxi and I'm seeing like a fuckboy driving a taxi, I'm not jumping in that. Especially if I'm late or I'm trying to get to where I need to get.
Yeah, you need.
If I'm going to try,
Yeah.
yeah. You're like, oh, okay.
Where the door's like half closed while you're still standing.
Wait. The moment you're in there, you know what I'm going to get, where I need to get.
No traffic.
I'm not trying to be tribalist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, I'm not trying to defend her at all. I don't care about her.
No.
But I understand she's an old white granny.
Yeah.
Who grew up in a certain space.
Right.
So I can either carry this negative energy, or I can literally, because this is what I did. I looked at it and I said, I'll sort it out. I walked. I literally saw guys doing the garden, and I said, "Hey, Makita, go pull up at number 12.
Yeah.
Wait for you, folks.
Yeah.
You go get it."
And so it's in those moments where then you're making a choice of how you're choosing to react to that. If you're going to choose, like you say, to go the negative way and throw your toys out and accuse her of intangayazi. So it is about making those fine little choices in those moments.
I'll give you another example. Because people are like, so what shit is racist? You taking a job, right? And it's about 6ish in the evening, it's 6:30.
Yeah.
And you see two black men walking like this. Man, how do you feel? If you're in a place where it's relatively empty, there's no one there, it's you and two black men coming
I'm nervous.
You're nervous.
Yeah.
Flip the script, two white females coming like this.
I'm chill.
How do you feel? Right? So people are like, oh, that's racist.
No,
bruh, there's stereotypes for a reason.
And I do think that we're very, very quick to overlook those moments. We are probably the people that lock their doors, like when you're approaching the robots, where they close the windows. That's what we're doing, but we're not seeing ourselves as racist in those moments.
I'm a black male. I grew up when you go to a Pick and Pay being followed by security.
Yeah.
I don't know how it,
by aisle.
I don't know how it feels being a little female, or being a little white, or a little, I've been a little black. Now you go, your mom sends you to go buy bread. Every aisle you get followed. Every aisle you get followed.
Yeah.
And you get touched and you're like, fuck these guys. I'm gonna steal chocolate just because.
Just because.
Not joking. But like, but you understand that I fit the mold, the stereotype. It comes from something. If I'm looking for a bag of weed, and I see a guy with dreads and dressed with a Bob Marley top,
in your mind you're like, I could probably get something.
I could probably get, if someone pauses out of a heart attack and I see a person in scrubs, I'd be like, sorry, doctor, can you please come in?
And then she actually is just a nail therapist. Because they wear the same
100%. But like, it's stereotypes coming from somewhere.
Right.
And people don't want to acknowledge that,
It's because we're so quick to react. We're so quick to react to each other, to ourselves even. We don't give things half a second of a chance to analyze things.
We're so selfish.
Yeah.
We're so selfish because we only look at shit through the lens, our own lens.
At which it serves us, I guess.
That's it.
Yeah.
But so again, I go to my grandmother and I try and think about it. This is her mindset. This is how she grew up.
Yeah.
My grandmother is a staunch IFP supporter. For me to try and convince her to, hey, no, she's IFP through and through.
Yeah.
She's gonna come in with her agenda. Now you telling me that I must change her and say she must vote DA. Yeah. How am I gonna do that?
It's got nothing to do with that.
So I'm trying to link it back to me saying, oh no, I'm not ready to get married and have kids. That's literally like me trying to convince her to switch and be EUDM.
Because that literally doesn't make sense to her.
She's like,
not ready.
How old are you?
Not ready to treasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you're
like,
they
ask me not really to treasure. Like what is it about? Like not ready ganjani.
Yes.
So I think it's very important to in trying to teach them. You can. I mean, you're not trying to sway them. Because you can't just go to her and be like, no, I'm my own woman. I just want to enjoy my own time. It's like, no, stop. There's no such thing as a woman. You need to have kids. You need to have a husband. You need to get going. So to first, the importance of this whole thing, I guess, is to understand the environment in which the person that you're talking to is coming from or is in order for you to kind of try to understand each other. Okay.
again, I'll tell females, I can dress however. I'm like, it's your body, I guess, in certain spaces, I guess, but you better not be wearing it pretty sexy, right? You gonna get some, the same way I can dress however I want, but I can't wear my little pink shorty shorts and a boob tube in certain textures. I might get it, so it's understanding, what environment am I in and how I need to then adjust accordingly. Right. That's just the world. It's like being in a corporate space where people are wearing shirts and ties and suits, and they're like, oh, it's my body, I can do whatever I want because you're showing nipple.
For sure, you do whatever you want.
You can get fired for it. Coming to work showing you all types of nipple.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
You can't do that.
But like people understand that when it comes to the realm of work.
Yeah.
But they don't understand that in other environments, in other spaces.
Yeah.
Understand what's in the
Yeah.
Because if I'm going to Evugeni, I know what's in the there's a certain way of how even the guys handle things. Here in Joburg, in the north, there's a bit of an argy-bargy. Sorry, what did you do? Hold on. Hey. If you Evugeni, you're an answer.
Yeah.
It's different now. Adjust.
You know.
And then once you understand the mindset, then you can try and find the language in which they will understand. No, so you will see okay, moving on. By you saying Guti, she didn't understand
that he's trying.
We are facing that. Instead of just saying because he's gonna be like go. Yeah. Hey, as I'm so free. Then at least she's in balance. Then she's relaxed. And when the aunts are asking, she'll be the first to say, hey, man, I'm again. All you did was say that, so free. So sometimes and the moment I've said that one line, I don't have to deal with the pressures of the words.
You can now relax for the rest of your chill.
But I understood where she was coming from, I understood the mindset, and I answered in a language that she can understand.
And you guys are now both literally on the same page.
Now we're cool. How cool are we now? How much? I'm no longer saying the environment is toxic. I'm no longer coming through with, oh my god, I'll never go to my grand because she puts me under pressure.
She's now waiting for the time to just.
She's just, if anything, she'll come and say, how can she help? How can she, And if I say no, I'm looking for the right person. She'll be out there. She's like, she'll find me 5
niggas. I got you.
And now she's there. Now she's actually in your corner versus where you felt that she was in opposition corner, putting pressure. But again, it starts from you understanding her.
So I think that's how we can wrap it up, and we really would love to hear from everybody. But it really is about the way we can teach them, or the way we can help them in unlearning those things, is to understand what it is that they have to unlearn before we can kind of criticize that damage, right? Because then that damage causes your damage, and it's really just a vicious cycle. And we're really that's really what we're trying to eliminate.
I've been watching my mom adjust, because my mom went from Imakaya to Elokshini, from Elokshini then we moved to the burbs, and then watching her move from there to Joburg. Like from rural KZN to Elokshini in Newcastle, to a town in Newcastle, to Joburg. Think of all those
those adjustments,
mental gymnastics that she had to do. Now you're in Joburg. Now she's teaching white rich kids. Before often it's Elokshini. Teaching high school, matric. Elokshini, now you're teaching grade 1s that have more money in their savings account than you can even imagine. You know,
Yeah.
It's such craziness and understanding, because what's happening with that with the time, people are constantly saying, you can say this, you can say that.
Yeah.
You can't say this, you can't say that.
Yeah.
You can do this, you can. And watching her, and obviously there's that whole dissonance within her own. But
Yeah.
and watching her, it's so. I'm so in awe of it.
Yeah.
Because I asked myself that, would I be able to?
Yeah.
You know,
to adjust in
would
that
I,
way.
if
Flex yourself.
if it gets to a point where let's say they change, I'm going to give an extreme example. Let's say in 10 years' time there's no more, pedophilia is no longer illegal. And now my 12-year-old says he's in love with a 50-year-old guy.
Yeah.
You know, would I be able, because it's no longer illegal. You must understand, a lot of these things used to be illegal at a certain time, and now they're perfectly fine.
Yeah.
You know, would I be able to do those mental gymnastics of
and getting to a place of giving it a try,
and then having to embrace this person into my home,
Yeah.
who is in love with my 11-year-old.
Yeah.
Now 50, but now 11.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm low. But no, now my 11-year-old telling me it's new times. Adjust, Dad.
Yeah. I think that's a different topic for a different day.
Yeah, what
about that? Sounds very, very hectic. Yeah, no, I think we can definitely cover that.
Let's try.
Yeah, we need to talk about how far we go for other people, because we're living in such a time of being so selfish. So not to say with you constantly wanting to please others or whatever, but how far are you willing to go to understand that it's got nothing to do with you? A lot of the time we always think it's an attack, but it sometimes isn't. So we're gonna cover that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
This is dope.
Single post.
Steady.
Stay, rest.
Rest, but we still need
Yo.
you here.
I never.
What do you mean?
Your pussy vodka kanje. Izani. Yazi mfule maphuza. Your pussy vodka.
Rest.
Never. I
Rest.
never. The rest next year.
Mean can't you?
2021.
Mean.
Gay one and it's a peri COVID. That peri COVID gay one get rest.
On that note, I don't know anything about that. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Please do leave your comments. Yeah, we're gonna keep you guys updated in terms of how you can get a hold of us and stuff. So, thank you.
Alright.
Ciao.
That was cool.
That was cool.